guys, Way here, and today I'm showing you guys the best winter ones to watch cards to invest in and trade with to make huge amounts of profit. Now, for those of you who don't know, ones to watch trading is probably the most effective way of making coins on FIFA 18. The profit margins are absolutely ridiculous. Just as an example, Jared De La Feu last night, he was going for about 40k with his one to watch item before the Watford-Chelsea game, and in that 4-1 victory for Watford, he scored a goal and won a penalty. He was man of the match, and he went up to about 80k after the game. He doubled in price, and you can expect to see that with pretty much all these ones to watch cards. If they put in a good performance in real life, their ones to watch card on Ultimate Team will rise up considerably in value. So you guys can either invest in these cards, keep them in your club and wait until they perform well, or you can snipe them quickly if they score a goal in a game, anything like that. I have actually done an in-depth ones to watch trading guide. I'll leave a card in the top right corner that shows the best ways to trade with these ones to watch items. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys the best winter ones to watch cards to trade with. These can make you so much profit, so I would recommend watching the whole video just so you get the best possible idea of all these cards to trade with, as you can make so many coins. It is absolutely ridiculous. So if you guys do enjoy, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and without further ado, let's go on into it. So I've got the full winter ones to watch squad up here on Footbin, and as always I'm going to be staying away from the very high end cards. So in this case it's Sanchez and Aubameyang. That's just because I don't like trading with very expensive cards. I'd rather kind of spread the risk and get a lot of cheaper cards than one big card, because if Aubameyang, for example, gets injured, he'll drop down a lot in price. We saw that with Jesus last year. He was like 600 or 700k, then he got injured against Bournemouth and he dropped down to like 300k or so because he was injured for a few months. So just always stay away from the high end cards. I'd recommend just focusing on cards under 100k. With the odd exception, I'd say Coutinho is a great one just because he's around 180k right now. He's already got an 87 rated inform at Liverpool, and given the fact he's playing for Barcelona, who are just tearing up La Liga right now, he's almost guaranteed to get special cards. So he's going to go straight up to an 88 with his first special card he gets for Barcelona. And given the stats he's going to have, given the fact he'll probably be the best left winger you can go with for a Barcelona link to Suarez or someone, he's the best Barcelona left winger by far in the game, I think he will be a lot more than 180k if he gets an 88 rated inform. So that's probably the main high-end one that I would recommend going with. Lucas stands out for me as one of the best, if not the best investments in this entire squad, because he's around 50k right now. He's just over that on PlayStation. He's nearly 60k on Xbox, but around 55k or so if you can get him for that price. It's crazy how cheap he is, because he's Brazilian, which is one of the most popular nations on the game. He plays for Spurs in the Premier League, so one of the best clubs. You can link him to great players like Eriksen, Dembele, Kane, Aurier in at right back. Premier League's obviously the most popular league on the game, and he's just got a great card, 93 pace. If he starts playing games for them, which I think he will, just because he doesn't have much competition, Lamela and Sissoko are their two other right-sided midfielders, and he is better than both of those, at least in my opinion, and I expect he will probably start ahead of them for Spurs. I think just with how attacking they are, with Kane, Eriksen, all those forward players, I expect he is going to score goals and either get informs or just have goals and assists that are going to make his price go up. So he's definitely a good one to get in my opinion. Diego Costa, I'd stay away from, just because no one uses Costa in this game because he's quite slow and he doesn't really suit the meta of the game. It's better for kind of quicker, agile players who are really good on the ball, and Costa's one of those target man strikers who just doesn't really suit the meta of the game. No one uses him. If you're looking for a Liga striker, you'd go with someone like Griezmann instead. So I don't really think he's the best investment. There are some really good ones, but he's not one of the ones I'd go for. Van Dijk I think is good, because although he is quite expensive for a centre-back at around 70 to 80k on both consoles, the reason I think he's a great investment is because if you look at his card, he has got an unbelievable card in terms of stats for a centre-back. He's got good pace, great defending, great physical, good passing and dribbling too for a centre-back, and he's quite an attacking defender. He's not been that good defensively recently. I don't think he's actually kept a clean sheet so far for Liverpool, but he's a very attacking centre-back. He's very tall. He normally scores a few goals each season, and if he scores a goal, his price is going to rocket up. You could easily see him get an inform if he scores a goal, just because normally if a centre-back does score a goal, they're likely to get an inform because it's quite rare for defenders to score goals. And you can almost guarantee he's going to score a goal at some point throughout the season. That's going to make his price go up a lot, and if he did get an inform, he'd have one of the best centre-back cards in the Premier League. So definitely a good investment in my opinion. Mkhitaryan, I think it's a little bit too expensive, just because he's like 200k or so, and he's a right mid in the Premier League, and he isn't that quick. I mean, 86 pace is decent, but in the Premier League, you've got people like Sterling, he's very, very fast. You've got Mane as well with some special cards there. You've got Salah. People always want pace, and Mkhitaryan's a lot slower than some of those options. And it's for that reason that people like Mkhitaryan and Mahrez aren't that popular in this game. Even though they have a few special cards, no one really uses them just because they're quite slow. So I would stay away from him. Also, he'll probably end up getting special cards playing as a central player, because I think he will probably play as a kind of an attacking midfielder quite a bit for Arsenal. And this card will stay as a right mid, which is going to be less desirable on the game. Inigo Martinez, he could be a decent one, but I think there are better investments to get. I mean, he's got a good card there, but there are better options, like Ramos, for example, in La Liga, so he's not one of the standout ones for me. Walcott, I think, is decent. He's slightly inflated now because people think he may get into the next team of the week, because he scored 2 goals a couple of days ago. If he doesn't, he'll probably drop down to like 45, 50k, and if that is the case, I would recommend picking up, just because he is pretty good so far. I mean, he wasn't playing much for Arsenal, but he's been playing for Everton. He scored, I think, 2 goals and got an assist in his first 2 or 3 games for them. So he's on decent form right now. He's playing quite well, stands a good chance of getting more hype built up around him. If he scores a goal, anything like that, he is going to go up just because he's English, he's got a good card, and he plays in the Premier League. Laporte, I think, is a decent one because he's one of the cheaper ones to watch, guys. The cheapest is around 43 or 44k. He's currently 50k, and for a Man City centre-back who's 84 rated, who plays in the Premier League, obviously, and is French, so that's a good combo there. And if you look at his card, I mean, 69 pace isn't the best, 78 physical isn't the best, 86 defending is really good. If he gets an inform, he's probably going to get over 80 physical and definitely over 70 pace, and that's going to make him a lot more desirable, and I reckon he'd be worth way more than 50k. If you look, for example, at Ultimate Scream Company, he's like 70k or something, and he's got a much worse card than that. If you look at Otamendi, he goes for a lot more than that, and he's got pretty similar stats. So I think he'd become the best Man City centre-back and would probably go for like 100k or so. So definitely a good one to get in my opinion. Batshuayi's overinflated right now and isn't that good on the game. No one really seems to use Batshuayi. Again, he doesn't fit the meta that well because he's not got the skill moves. He isn't that good on the ball, so he's a bit too overinflated in my opinion. And then dropping down to the bench reserves, I'd probably stay away from Babacar and Rashica just because no one uses them on Ultimate Team. Tosin, I would also stay away from just because, although he is a decent player, no one really uses him on Ultimate Team. He'd probably still just be a discard price striker if he got an inform. Musa could be an interesting one. He's quite cheap right now, one of the cheap ones to watch, guys, and the fact that he plays in the Russian league, I mean, he's a good player playing in not the best or most competitive of leagues, so he's got a good chance of getting informs. So it could be a good one to get. He's going to link up to people like SBC Promise and some of the other good players in that league, so always a good one to keep an eye on. And then Locadia, I think he's a bit of a hidden gem. No one seems to have focused on him as an investment. He's actually the cheapest one to watch guard. But the thing is with him, he's got an inform playing for, I think, PSV or Ajax, whatever his previous club was, which is 81 or 82 rated and has got really, really good stats. He's pretty much got like +7 or 8 on all of the stats you see on this card. I think his shooting's even higher. It's like 86 or something mad. He's got an amazing card with that inform, and that means if he gets an inform for Brighton, I'm not saying he will, I'm not sure how good he's going to play really in the Premier League, but if he does, he's going to go up to like an 83 rated inform that's going to have ridiculous stats. He's going to have like near 90 shooting, about 86, 87 pace. He will have a really good card, so for that reason I think he could be a good one to potentially pick up. Coquelin, not an investment I'm interested in, just doesn't have a good card and is unlikely to get informs. Untep could be a good one to get just because he's got a good card, he's playing in a decent league, good nation. If he gets an inform, he's going to be pretty popular because he's going to be really fast, and there aren't many left-wing options apart from Neymar in Ligue 1 that anyone really uses, so it could be a good one, but not one of the standout ones for me. Tagliafico's got a good card, but not the best of leagues, so not a standout one for me there. Ross Barkley could be a good one just because he is one of the cheaper ones to watch, guys, playing for Chelsea. But Chelsea aren't on the best of form recently, and he isn't playing for them, and he won't play day in, day out for them. He'll probably kind of come off the bench late on in games, that kind of stuff. Won't have too much impact unless he ends up getting into a good run of form. So it could be a good one to get, just wait and see. If he starts playing more, could be a good one to get. Maybe if a key player like Fabregas, for example, gets injured and it frees up an option for him to play, just keep an eye out there, and you could potentially pick him up and make some coins. Miete is a good one in my opinion because he's already got an inform, so he's got a boosted up card with over 80 and all but 2 stats already. He's one of the cheaper ones to watch, guys. If he gets another inform, he could potentially have like over 80 pace, about 85 for all his other stats, even higher physical, he'd be a really, really good player and would be probably the best defensive midfielder in Ligue 1. So a good one to pick up if you can get him cheap enough. And I think João Mario is a brilliant one here. He's, again, one of the cheap ones to watch because he's under that 50k mark. And he's got a really good card, over 70 in every stat. He was man of the match on his West Ham debut. And I think he is going to score goals. He's going to start a lot of games for them, which he wasn't doing when he was playing at Inter Milan. He's going to hopefully get into some good form for them. Because if he did get some informs, this card would be very, very good. And I think one of the better investments to make. João Mario, quite cheap, great card, and is likely to do pretty well for West Ham. And then finally, Gerard Deulofeu. He's about 57k right now. He's gone up by about 10k from what he was before the Chelsea game, but he did go up to about 75, 80k last night. If he doesn't get in the next team of the week, I reckon he'll drop down to like 45, 50k, and if he does, pick him up because he's got a good card, and he's playing for Watford, where he's likely to start most games, and if last night's anything to judge by, he's probably going to play it pretty well for them. So those are all of the ones to watch cards from this winter batch that I kind of recommend investing in. I've covered all of these. I think the standout ones for me, you've got Lucas, Laporte, Coutinho on a higher budget, Van Dijk, and then João Mario, and also Untep, Locadia. I think they're the standout ones. You've got a few other ones you can get if you want, but I'd recommend just keeping an eye on these, seeing what happens to their prices. Keep an eye on the news around these clubs. So, for example, I don't know, maybe, let's say, with Ross Barkley, let's say one of their key midfielders in his specific position with Chelsea get injured, someone like Fabregas, as I said, that's going to free up space for him to play more, and you could see him rise up in price. If maybe Otamendi gets injured, you'll see Laporte start pretty much every single game. That's going to make his price rise up and make him more of a desirable investment. You guys get the idea. There are some good ones to get that you can make a lot of profit on. And if you're wondering when the best time to buy these would be, I'd say for Laporte and Lucas, now's a good time because they're very, very cheap because they're getting packed a lot. But then if you're looking at some of these lower rated ones, especially people like Locadia, definitely wait because they will drop down. They're only this expensive because of the ones to watch SBCs. People need them for those. But I think once those SBCs are finished, they will drop down a lot in price. We'll probably see people like Locadia going for about 30k or so, maybe even cheaper. And I think these cards will drop down more, so definitely keep an eye on them. Just if you see them starting to rise up, maybe once the SBCs have finished, pick them up because they will probably keep rising. But I expect a lot of these lower rated cards will drop down once the SBCs have finished. But then people like Laporte and Lucas, I think, will already start to rise just because they have good cards and they're only this cheap really because of the SBCs. I'd probably say the same for Van Dijk and Coutinho. Those four, I think they'll all go up as soon as the SBCs have finished, whereas some of these lower rated ones will probably drop down. So if you're looking to get these ones, wait. If you're looking to get some of these ones, now is a good time to pick them up. But anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I know it's been quite a long, drawn out one, but hopefully it's covered everything you guys need to know about the ones to watch, guys. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments down below. But I hope you guys enjoy. Subscribe if you're new around here. Leave a like, and I'll catch you later. Take care.